Shalom. I'd like to start off by saying Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and to the hopeful elect, push his word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. This lesson is going to be titled Flawless Victory. It's going to be a short one, but an important one. Right? And actually, let's go into the word flawless. Okay, well, flawless without flaw. Let's go into flaw. So basically, the main word I'm looking for is defect, fault. So that's what a flaw means. When someone has a flaw, like they have a fault, they have a defect. Something's wrong with them, right? And then, so lacking, cannot be, does not, right? So if you put the words together, that means they don't have, someone who does not have a defect, someone who doesn't do anything wrong, so to speak, someone who doesn't make any mistakes, right? And the person that did that, the only person in history that did that is Yahweh Shai. He's the only one that didn't make any mistakes. It was a flawless victory, right, over Satan. And that's why he's an example to teach us how to get to where he is, right? Not obviously he has his own title. He has his own spot on the right-hand side of the Yahweh. But to get to where he is in the sense that being in the kingdom, ruling with him in the kingdom, right? He's the only example we have. So obviously you have to follow him. He did it perfectly. He didn't make one mistake. Right, so wouldn't you want to follow the king, the Lord, right? And this is how he did it. 1 Peter 2:18, servants, be subject to your master with all fear. So if you're a servant, right, you have a slave, which just means slave, right? Be subject to your masters with all fear. So you have to subject yourself to your masters. You have to submit yourself to your masters. Okay, with all fear. So we have to submit ourselves to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai because we are afraid. Because we understand they have the power. They are the power. We don't have any power. Right? So you have to cleave unto them. Right? Just like a servant would cleave unto his master, we have to cleave unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Because your master is your master. Your master knows everything, has everything. You're just a servant. But if you cleave unto them, masters like servants that cleave unto them. They like those ones because they understand that, they understand because that servant understands his role. So of course they're going to want to be more inclined to help you over the other servant who's not cleaving onto them, who's not asking for them for help, who's not asking to them before they can do something, right? You have to understand that you are a slave, you're a servant, you're a prisoner. But the servants that don't even understand, they think that they're free, those are the ones that the masters don't like. Just like back in the slave times, the slave masters liked the slaves that just listened to them, didn't talk back, didn't do anything, always asked them for help, understood that they were above them, right? Now, that was in a wicked sense, but nonetheless, it's still the same essence, right? Not only to the good and gentle, but also to the forward. So, yeah, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai could be gentle, or he could be forward. He can be rough. Nonetheless, regardless of which way he comes at you with, you still have to be subjected unto them. Doesn't matter. For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience toward Yahweh endure grief, right? Suffering wrongfully. So the Most High likes when you suffer, even when you didn't do anything, right? When you didn't do anything, you still suffer for it. That pleases the Most High. For what glory is it when ye be buffeted, which means striked, attacked for your faults? Ye shall take it patiently, right? Because there is no glory in it. There is no glory in being attacked for your faults, right? Because you messed up, so you shouldn't be being glorified in that. Oh yes, I'm being attacked for this and that, and I did this. No, you should be ashamed, right? But nonetheless, you are supposed to take it patiently because you messed up, right? But if when ye do well and suffer for it, you take it patiently, this is acceptable with Yahweh, right? And the Most High likes when you do well, do things good, and you still suffer for it, right? You still suffer for it, you take it patiently. The Most High is pleased with that. For even hereunto were ye called, because Yahushua also suffered for us, leaving us an example. That's why I said it's an example. He left us an example of how to do it the right way. Okay? That ye should follow his steps. Yeah, you're supposed to follow his steps. Right? And why are we supposed to follow his steps? Because who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. So he didn't sin. Not a single sin, not a single thought of wickedness. Right? Just perfect. Who, when he was reveled not. Again, when he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judges righteously. Right? So when he went through things, he never threatened anybody, never talked back, never attacked them. He's continued to subject himself to Yahweh, right? Because Yahweh is the one that's making him go through that anyways. So he understood that he's going through that because he messed up in the past, right? So he just subjected himself to Yahweh, because in the day he's already looking at the future. He's like, okay, I know I have to go through this because I messed up. I sinned in my past lives, right? And also I'm taking the sins of all of Israel. So I'm going to go through it. That's it, right? Because he understood the end game. The end game is that he's going to get the kingdom. But it's not easy to suffer when you're in the flesh, because the flesh is weak. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Roughly paraphrasing, right? But yet he still did it perfectly. Who, when read that, who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sins, should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed, right? Because our wounds were healed through Yahushua taking our sins and dying on the cross, right? He brought us back to the Most High. For ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishops of your souls. So the shepherd is Yahushua, and the bishop is Yahweh, because he's also called the father of souls, bishop of your souls, right? So now we're going to go to Philippians 2:7. Philippians 2:7, but made himself of no reputation and took upon him the form of a servant. And see how it says servant again? Because servants are slaves and they subject themselves to the master. They are completely subject themselves to the master, completely. Because they understand that they're a slave. They're a servant. They're a prisoner. The master is the master. Master has the power to take their life or to give them life, right? To make them eat or to make them starve. To make them sick or to make them to heal them. But made himself of no reputation and took upon him the form of a servant and was made in the likeness of men. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. So he humbled himself, right? He's telling you what he did. How did he get there? He had to humble himself, right? And became obedient unto death. So he was obedient to Yahweh unto death. From when he was born until when he died. And still now. Right? And he did it in the flesh. Right? But like I said before, the reason why he was able to do that is because he understood why he was going through it. He understood. If you understand, then it's a lot easier to suffer. But if you don't understand, then it's not gonna be easy to suffer. So you need to ask the Most High. Ask your master, why am I going through this? Why are you whipping me? What did I do? And he will tell you. If you're sincere, he will tell you. And if he doesn't tell you, then you must already know. Wherefore Yahweh also hath highly exalted him and given him a name which is above every name, that at the name of Yahushua every knee should bow, of things in heaven and things in earth and things under the tree, Slakia, and things under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Yahushua HaMashiach is Lord, to the glory of Yahweh the Father. Right? Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it is Yahweh which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. Do all things without murmurings and disputings, that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of Yahweh with rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation. Among ye shine as lights in the world. And you shine as lights in the world because you have the truth. So you're above everybody because you have the truth. So you're supposed to keep yourself to a higher standard. You're the ambassadors of the Most High, of Yahweh. You're the ambassadors of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You're representing him. So if he didn't talk back to the Most High, if he didn't get mad when he went through things, if he didn't fight back, if he didn't run from suffering, if he didn't do the things, then we should not be doing the same. Right? We should be doing exactly what he did. Right? Because that's the only way, that's the only chance you have to make it to the chariots. And you're not going to be able to do it perfectly because, you're supposed to strive to do it perfectly if you can. That's the end game, obviously. We're all trying to do it perfectly, but you're going to mess up. But the point is to keep focusing on that. Keep focusing on the way he did it, not the way you want to do it, the way he did it. Right? Because he did it perfectly. So anything outside of that, you're going to do it wrong. You're going to mess up. The way he did is the right way to do it because look where he is and look what he got. Okay? But to do that, you have to subject yourself. Right? Holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of Yahushua HaMashiach, that I have not run in vain, because you don't want to run in vain. You don't want to do this marathon race for nothing. Neither labored in vain. You don't want to do the work for nothing. You don't want to do all this work and then get nothing out of it just because you didn't want to suffer, just because you didn't want to subject yourself to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, just because you didn't want to subject yourself to your masters. Because if you don't want to do that, you're being prideful. Yea, and if I be offered upon the sacrifice in service of your faith, I joy and rejoice with you all. Because, if you happen to be sacrificed because of the truth, then so be it. Because Yahushai did it. Yahushai died. He was sacrificed for all of our sins. So why, if that happens that you fall into that category of the people that are the brothers that are going to be sacrificed, and so be it. Because you're doing it for the truth. Right? It was just like a servant, a slave with his master. And a slave, back then in those ancient times, those slaves would die for their masters. Like I used to watch the show Vikings. Those slaves wanted to go to the afterlife with their masters. When they had human sacrifices, their slaves, because their master died, their slaves would allow themselves to be sacrificed to die with their masters. That's full subjection. That's full subjection, right? That's the key. Those are the keys. I should say that's not the one thing, but those are the keys. The cheat codes, so to speak, to fast track yourself, your development, right? But it takes a lot of. You have to be very, very. You have to humble yourself. You just have to, which is not easy because you're in the flesh. You're in the flesh, and maybe you are some person in the world, and you're still carrying that spirit of who you are in the world, and et cetera, et cetera, you know, and you're carrying on in the truth, which is the dangerous thing to do, because that means you still have that old man. You still have remnants of that old man, you know, so you have to get rid of it, because we're almost out of here. And Yahweh Rapha is one of the hopeful elect, but we're almost out of here. Isaiah 53:7, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers. Okay, Slakia, let me read that again. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. Yeah, so just dumb. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to go through this, so be it. All right, you're saying I'm going to have to get my head chopped off, so be it. You tell me I have to go in prison, so be it. You're going to take my things away, my stuff, my possessions away, so be it. Or you're going to beat me up, so be it. Right? Because you have to understand the big picture. The Most High is putting you through this. It's a test, right? Are you going to suffer? Are you going to take this as a good soldier of Yahweh Shem Shai? You know? Are you going to fight back? Because you shouldn't, because you understand why this is happening. Just like Yahweh Shai understood why all that stuff happened to him. That's why he never did it. That's why he never fought back. He never did any of that stuff. He was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken. Yeah, because of the people, the Israel, that's why he died. He was cut off from the land of the living. And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Right? So he, no violence. He didn't commit no violence. He never attacked anybody. Never did anything like that. He never lied about anything. Right? Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. So you see that it pleased the Lord to bruise him, because he's bruising him for righteous reasons. And it pleased him, the Most High, to bruise him is because he took it like a soldier. He never talked back. He never got angry at the Most High for putting him through this, because he understood why it was happening. Right? But he was in the flesh also, but he did it perfectly. But like I said, the stuff I read earlier, those are the tricks. You want to say cheat codes. Those are the skills and traits you have to obtain so you can endure and suffer, right? While you're in the flesh and in this weak, decrepit body that doesn't want to suffer, right? Because we're trying to do it perfectly. We're trying to get out of here, right? The hopeful elect. We're trying to get out of here. So the only way to do it is to do it like how Yahweh Shai did it, because he came as a man, right? And look where he is. He's on the right-hand side of Yahweh, sitting with him, waiting for the other brothers, hopeful elect, to make it out of their tests, their trials, and see who's going to make it. Because I always refer this as a team. This is like the all-star team of all all-star teams, the creme de la creme, right? You might have only 144,000 can make it, but you might have 300,000 trying out for this team, and only 144,000 can make it. Right? So what's going to separate you from everyone else? Because you're not the only one that's trying to make it to his chariots. There's other brothers too, all around the world. So you need to really stop worrying about what other people are doing and worry what you need to do to get better. Now, do look at other brothers, obviously, and watch their videos and their lessons and learn from your elders. But you don't get focused on, this brother is doing this brother is this far, this brother is over here, this brother is so smart, he knows X, Y, and Z, I just want to be like that. Right? I mean, because they're in their own lot. They have their own lot, they have their own sufferings that they're going through that you don't know about. So you need to focus on yourself. Right? Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him, he hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days. And the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand, right? He made his soul offering for sin. He shall see of he shall see of the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. So the Most High satisfied with that when you're going through, it satisfies him. It pleases him. So wouldn't you want to please the Most High? The one that controls everything that happens to you? You know, it doesn't mean you go look for things to suffer in. It doesn't mean you go looking for it. But when it happens, you take it like a soldier. You take it head on. You're like the knights fighting dragons. They put on the armor and then they go fight that dragon. They slay that dragon. If it's hot, you know, that armor only protects so much. You're still going to feel that heat. You might get burns and everything like that, but you're still going to fight that dragon. And then in the day, till you can't fight the dragon, you might even die doing it. So be it. But you can't be afraid of the dragon because it's hot, because of the heat. Right? He shall see of the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Notice it said by his knowledge, right? By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. It's because he understood. It's because he understood. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death. And he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. Right? Intercession, now he's a door, he's a mediator, right? He's an intercessor because of what he did. Right? So you need to understand why you're going through something to go through it. If you don't understand, you're not going to want to go through it. You're going to constantly get mad. You're constantly get upset. You're going to constantly, you're going to do what you're doing. You're going to suffer disgruntledly, right? But like I just read, the Most High is pleased by that when he bruises you, when he puts you through things, and you take it. You just take it. You know, you don't fight back. You just take it. That's a good servant. Just like if you had a woman who worshiped the ground you walked on, right? She worshiped the ground you walked on, and she subjected herself to you 100%. You would want to do anything for her. Now, that doesn't exist, but if you had that, you would want to do anything for that woman. It's the same thing with the Most High to us, right? If you subject yourself to, you don't think he's going to take care of you? Look what he did for his son. And are we not also sons of Yahweh? Anyways, I hope this lesson was edifying. The point has been made. I'd like to close out by saying, Ka halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and to the hopeful elect, pushing his word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. Death and destruction to his wicked kingdom, and the two-thirds as well. Kwam Yasharella, Abad Babal, Shalom.